Hello everybody and welcome back. Back with the NxtGen boys and their FASTR 5. So I'm trying to multitask, and anyone that knows me knows that I don't do that very well. Right, I best get this shared. Bear me a sec. So I'm just going to ignore chat for a moment, so if you chat I won't see it, but please feel free to comment anyway. 1 second. Live for lobby 1. Hopefully get some viewers in. We do normally get a few for the BMWs, so it should be moderately successful. NxtGen. There we go. For lobby 1 of the BMW M4 League. There we go. Right. So the posting has been done. I think we might be waiting on a few drivers. And then we'll wait for a few people to drop in, and then we'll go through what's involved. So let's get on track and have a look at some cars anyway. P1 Don's not glitching all over the place. That's a good sign. 3 down past 4. Okay. I don't want AVG browser. I don't want that. Why do you insist on giving me a browser I just do not want? Give me Chrome. There we go. So this is round 5, and if you haven't already calculated by now, we're at Spa-Francorchamps. Because of the length of lap, we're doing a slightly longer race tonight. It's not massively increased. We're adding 5 minutes to qualifying and 5 minutes to each of the 2 races we'll be doing. So we've got a 15-minute qualifier followed by a 15-minute race, and then we have a 2-minute break, and then we jump into the 15-minute reverse grid race. So with Spa, you're looking at about 2.5 minutes a lap, which is why the 10-minute thing just probably wasn't going to work out this time round. Hot discussion about this track all week. A lot of drivers have been putting a lot of practice down. With the length of the lap, there's a lot of time to optimise at Spa. So a lot of the drivers have spent an increasing amount of time just trying to wring the neck of this lap and get the most out of it they possibly can. So I would fully expect drivers like Philo, Don to be very quick here. Luke Mitchell's in the mix as well, although I've not really seen him in terms of practice. I mean, he tends to remain very quiet, so it's a bit of a dark horse, is Luke Mitchell. So a bit of an intro to Spa then. Bear me a second. A bit of an intro to Spa, obviously used by the FIA in the Formula 1, located in Stavelot. Hosted the first Grand Prix in the mid-50s, and it's actually one of the only venues to have hosted Grand Prix pretty much every year. I think it missed a couple of years due to obvious things, but it's been one of the mainstays on the Formula 1 calendar for quite a while. It's had numerous redesigns throughout its history. Most extensive of which 1979, and it basically was short, but it used to extend quite a way. Spa, as well as hosting the BMW M4 League, occasionally hosts a very a small event called the 24 Hours of Spa. It's a very common feature on the World Endurance Championship as well. And next year, I think a few of us sim racers are actually going to travel over there for the British GT Spa Speed Week, which is towards the end of July. So if anyone fancies jumping in for that, let us know. We'll share the deets, and you can come and join in, get involved. Right. So we're just waiting for these outlaps to get in. We'll go through the drivers and who's involved as well. There's a large temptation to screen grab my face from the live stream and make it into a decal. Go for it. If you want, Bob. To be fair, I won't, even if I say no, you're going to do it anyway, so it's like, just go nuts, man. Whatever. I'm actually quite surprised you've not made something horrific of me as a decal already. Like, I'm very surprised that hasn't already happened. Who we got in the room? We've got TNR Philo, he's in the house. Luke Doxty 94, he's here as well. He had a very good race last time out. Moss is here. We've got P1 Don in the building. We've got Dark Sykes here as well. He was my driver of the race for race 1 last week. Had a great one, and he's rocking a special livery. He did tell me how many hours he spent on this. 1 minute, let me pull up his chat. Give me a second. Absolutely beautiful looking car. 15 hours. That image on the side, yeah, that image on the side of the car, apparently it's made up of 50 separate pieces. It's ridiculous. Mark Sykes, of course. I don't know what to call it. He's very good at his graphic designs, and he runs it's like a little company that does them officially, does graphics. He's the guy that's made my logo, so I've got a lot of time from Mr. Sykes. It's helped me out a lot in this journey. Maybe I should make an admin collection of all you admins. Kind of Bob, whatever. just whatever, mate. P1 Don here with his fixed internet. We've got Bigsy in the house as well. What livery is he rocking today? Nothing dramatic. Shadow Stalk is here. Luke Mitchell is in the house, and Wace sat in the pits as he loves to do. Philo's out. Philo's fast lap's not got off to a good start. He's picked up a half-second penalty, no doubt for a little bit of a misdemeanor coming through radio. Luke Doherty's on his outlap as well. Moss. What we can do is just keep an eye on the live timing and just see. So Philo went purple sector 1 with a 42.7, although Dark Side's 42.9 and 42.9 for, so lots of 42.9, so not a lot to separate him in first sector. All your time at Spa is made and lost in this second sector the drivers are in now. All of your time is lost here. So what's wonder what Philo's going to do? But yeah, Bob, if you want to do that, mate, go nuts, pal. Go nuts. I'm just hoping tonight that we have a good race and it doesn't just get too spread out, because that's what can happen with these big tracks. But I think we had such a good race at Philo just pushing the boundaries there a little bit. We had such a good race at Brands last week because it was a short track. Absolutely brilliant race that. Why am I getting these? 1 minute, let me just back out a second. There we go. So I think I was getting you might have heard the bug in the background, it sounded awful. Right, Philo's going to have another go at this. So this lap, obviously not going to be good projection for him, so I'd expect pole time to be a mid or low 26s. Philo's 27.7, Luke Doxy's 27.0, Moss 27.2, P1 Don, not a good lap for P1 Don, I think I saw him make a mistake, 28.8 for P1 Don. Dark Sykes, what can he do? 29.9, must have lost quite a lot of time in that second sector. Bigsy 29.0, P5 for Bigsy. Shadow Stalker, this is going to be a P7 looking at his time already for him so far. Luke Mitchell, potential underdog this time, man. What was he doing? 106.1, 43.2. So he's he lost about 4 attempts off Philo in the first sector. But Luke Mitchell, who has been bothering Philo and Don the entire league so far, always in the mix for the wins. What's his first lap going to be? It's going to be a 28 something. It's a 28.4. Currently good enough for P4, but there's plenty of time for drivers to get faster laps in. Current pole sitter, of course, is Luke Doherty, but he only leads by 2 tenths to Moss. We know Philo and Don have got faster times in them, so we'll fully expect those guys to start rocking in the purple sectors soon. Of course, with the BMW M4 League, we don't have to contend with fuel depletion. We don't have to worry about tyre wear. These cars are all spec'd, so they have the same weight, the same power. No tuning is allowed. They all run the same tyres, which don't wear basically. It's all purely down to driver skill. The only real things you can really change around are brake bias and traction control and stuff like that. And most drivers drive without those anyway, without traction control. Moss just pushing a little bit too there, Moss, I think. A little bit too much. Wace is still in the pits. I don't know why he does this. He never bothers qualifying. What is the point? Right then, so this should be Philo's first flying lap. Time to beat is a 27.0. We know 26s are definitely doable. We've seen them happen in practice. What's Philo going to set here? This is going to be a 26.0, a whole second clear of Luke Doherty's time. Luke Doherty, can he improve on that? He can't, I'm afraid. What can Moss do? He's pulled over and waited. P1 Don though, 26.5. He's 4 and a bit tenths off Philo's time. Dark Sykes puts himself up to P5 with a 28.2. Bigsy improves as well, 28.6 for Bigsy. Can Shadow Stalker improve on that time he set earlier on? Can he actually puts himself ahead of Bigsy there over 28.6. So we're about halfway through this qualifying session now. And Philo is purple sector 1. What to be expected? So of course this is the last race for a couple of weeks. We've got the Christmas break coming up. So we break up until early January and then we'll be back. So about a 2-week break for these guys as Luke Doherty sends it flying through the air. What happened there? Welcome to GT Sport, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, so that's not going to help his time. We'll jump on board with it. Oh, Moss has just dipped a wheel on there. Yeah, you don't want to push too much through P1. You'll see drivers do that. There's no grip on that AstroTurf on the outside. If you touch that, basically you're going to Narnia. You just need to be very, very careful with how you do that. Philo then, current pole sitter 26.0. That looks close to an unbeatable time. I've got to be honest. That's the fastest time I've seen posted. I was running some practice laps. I managed to get into my optimal lap time was a 26.2, and that was stitching my perfect lap together. Philo did it on his first flyer, so he doesn't beat it. Then P1 Don, can he improve on his current time? It's looking good. It's 26.2. That's a brilliant time for P1 Don. Just 2 tenths shy of Philo's. Luke Doherty didn't improve that time around. Moss, we've seen, had a bit of an accident, so he'll just no doubt reset and go again. We've seen Bigsy in the Care Bears mobile improve. So yeah, Moss doesn't improve. Bigsy improved with a 27.7, so a good lap for Bigsy there. Comfortably on the 3rd row of the grid as it stands with Dark Sykes. Luke Mitchell struggling. He's 2.5 seconds off the time, and not really improving. His sector 1 was awful. So Luke Mitchell's someone we've got to wait and see if he can deliver a better result than that, because I'll be honest, this qualifying is not working out for him so far. He's got enough time for 2 more laps. So obviously doesn't improve that time round. So Luke Mitchell needs to have a better lap this time round. Philo purple sector 1, 42.7 that sector. Most drivers doing that about a 42.9 or a 43. So Philo is only getting faster and faster. Currently leads the field by just under 0.2 of a second. P1 Don though with a brilliant last lap. Is looking set like he might be able to challenge him. That sector for P1 was a 42.9, so it's very respectable. Philo goes purple sector 2 as well for 104.3. Don goes purple sector 2 now, so Don is on a flyer. So again, this could upset the order. Both Philo and Don are on very, very fast laps, respectively setting purple times. So let's see what Philo can do first of all. I'm going to keep an eye on Luke Mitchell's time, probably next time round. So Philo's time to beat 26.0. Can we see a 25 lap time? I think we might. 25.5 for Philo. Oh wow, if P1 Don can beat that, I'll be very impressed. It's a 26.1 for Don. It's still falling short. That was a lap from the gods for Philo there. A 25.557 for Philo. Luke Mitchell, what are you up to? You're just about to come to a time in line. Let's see. He is personal best by a second, so he is improving his time, but there is a lot of wiggle room in that time as well. Philo's just given up. I don't think he can squeeze any more out of that car. P1 Don's having one more go at it. Luke Doherty's following. Luke Doherty might be getting a little bit of slip here from his fellow P1 teammate up ahead. He might be getting the faintest of toes, and indeed Luke Doherty's 3 tenths up on his best time so far in sector 1. Moss, a driver that typically does have a good qualifying session. As we see, Luke Mitchell finally comes in with a 26.9, a good lap for Luke Mitchell there, but it is still 1.5 seconds short of Philo's absolute magic lap. It's going to be a struggle for anyone to come close to that, I won't lie. Big Z having his Care Bears stroked in the pits. Dark Sykes having another go. Shadow Stalker, what's he up to? Yeah, he's having another go at it as well. And then Wace. Wace is out of the pits and should squeeze a lap in here. But he's just going to have one go at it, is our Wace. So Don firmly through sector 2. But that sector 1 wasn't even a personal best time, so yeah, he's 0.02 of a second down, and I don't think there's half a second in this sector 3. There just isn't that much wiggle room for time. He's going to struggle. Luke Mitchell improves yet again on his time, 42.7 for a sector 1. That's pretty much matched Philo's sector 1 time from his fastest lap. Now let's just ride on board with Luke Mitchell in the Ibanez car. Alright, so this is coming up to P1. You want to tuck into that inside this. What was a little bit scruffy there for Luke. He could have got closer to the apex, but if he tidies this chicane up nicely, this will be a good time for sector 2. Luke Doherty sets a 26.8, so it doesn't leapfrog him above P1 Don, but it's a much better time. Gives him a little bit of wiggle room against Luke Mitchell. This will be the last lap now for Luke Mitchell. Let's see what his time is. Is he improving? He is half a second up on his best time, so he is currently poised to leapfrog Luke Doherty and take P3 away from him. Moss improves his time. He leapfrogs Luke Mitchell with a 26.9. So that gives Luke Mitchell even more work to do in this last sector. The more pressure is on him currently. He's on the 3rd row of the grid. That 1st row is seemingly like a unicorn land, but he needs to get himself on that 2nd row of the grid if he's going to have a good run up the Camel Straight and get a slipstream. Luke Mitchell, what can he do? Dark Sykes with a 27.4 at the def. Luke Mitchell 26.2. That is P3 for Luke Mitchell right at the end of qualifying. Who else have we got out there? Shadow Stalker. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. Wace is the next driver and the last driver that's going to be setting a time. Of course, all his times are personal bests. It's looking like it might be a mid-table time for Wace. I don't think this time's going to be trouble in the Philos, the Dons, the Luke Mitchells, Luke Dohertys of the world, but it might still be pretty decent time. Probably a projected 27:28. I've just noticed a sticker on the back of your car, Wace. Funny but inappropriate. What can Wace set? Last lap to be set is a 27:3. That's a respectable time because he spent all of his time in the pits, and that's P6 for Wace. But the story of qualifying goes to this man, TNR Philo, with a 25:557. I've not seen that time all week. Ridiculously quick. P1 Don's having another go at it. You think he just got across in time, but he's not improving. Over another time. But neither of those guys are improving their sector time, so wouldn't expect any magic on these laps. In fact, it doesn't look like Luke Doherty's even really that bothered. P1 Don, what's he doing? Yeah, this isn't going to be an improved lap for Don. God knows where that time came from. I think God does know because he probably helped you. That was a ridiculously fast time, 25:5. So your current grid then for the first race is Philo on pole with P1 Don alongside him, Luke Mitchell P3, Luke Doherty P4, Moss P5, Wace P6, Darksides P7, Bigsy P8 and Shadow Stalker is P9 on the grid. Funny characteristic about Spa, pole isn't always where you want to be because you are basically punching a hole in the air for everyone going through Eau Rouge, Radiant and up the Camel Straight. Expect turn 7 to be a hot point, which is the Lacombe chicane at the end of the Camel Straight. Expect to see some action up there. We're ready for 15 minutes here at Spa-Francorchamps with the BMW M4, sponsored by FASTR, hosted by NxtGen. It's a short one down to the source hairpin. This is an action spot. My finger is ready on the replay trigger. And we are away for race 1 of round 5. I think everyone seemed to get away well. Luke Mitchell might be in for a good run here at P1 Don. He is indeed going down the inside. Little tap of the wall though for Luke Mitchell. That's going to slow him down. Moss makes a little bit of an error, gets that back end out, but it is Philo leading us down for the first time. We're threatening to go 3 wide here. This is Luke Doherty, Luke Mitchell and Wace. Luke Mitchell's had a bit of a nightmare. Luke Doherty and Wace going side by side through Eau Rouge. A little bit of side contact, but I think that's okay. Wace has had a great start. He's hooked onto the back of Luke Doherty now, but he's towing along Luke Mitchell. It's the view from Moss's car. Let's have a look at what happens. Wace looks to be having a go at Luke Mitchell. Luke's going to try and hang it around the outside. Isn't able to successfully do that. Shadow Stalker's had a great start up to P7. Bigsy P8 and Darksides from somewhere has had an absolute shock of a start. He's all the way down in P9 with it all to do. But Philo leads the way. He's got to now try and just get his head down, pull a gap while the guys behind are fighting. P1 Don and Luke Doherty, P2 and P4 respectively. Wace has had a great start as Shadow Stalker does run it a little bit wide in the background. A dream start for Wace. P4, but he has got Luke Mitchell now. Will be threatening about Arbener's car. He's been quick all season. Moss P6 pulling a gap to Shadow Stalker, Bigsy and Darksides. Darksides might get 2 cars in one here through P1, and that is indeed a great move there by the Mandalorian car. Let's just have a look at this from Darksides' perspective. So you'll see Shadow Stalker run wide. Bigsy's line is compromised a little bit, and yet the Mandalorian car uses the force and gets 2 cars in one. P1 Don then looking like he might have a little bit of a go here at Philo coming through Blanchemont. He'll be getting all the suck. Don actually backing out of it there. He might have a go down at the bus stop, but he'll probably struggle. And now P1 Don doesn't go for it in the end. Have we got any moves going on further down? It is Bigsy v Shadow Stalker. Bigsy having to get rid of a penalty. What's happened to Shadowstalker here? He's just gone off. So he was getting rid of a penalty. Showing defend to Biggsy, so yeah, he's serving a penalty. Oh, he just gets attacked. Yeah, all he does really is hook a curb, and it's just spun him round. It's put him kind of out of the fight now, I'm afraid. Luke Mitchell has given Wace all sorts of problems. The Ibanez car now side by side with Wace. As we come down the Camel Straight, Moss is using this fighting opportunity up ahead to pull the gap between the two. See Luke Doherty and P1 Don fight it out. Wace just about defends to Luke Mitchell. Then good driving by Wace so far. And Luke Doherty yet again hits that. We saw Luke Doherty do that earlier on, where you hit the I call them the dildos on the inside. You whack one of them and it will send you round. I think that's all he did there. Start of lap 2 then. TNR Philo leading the way. He's got a 1.5 second gap over what is now Luke Doherty. Luke's who's got past P1 Don. So Luke Doherty, these M4s really suit his driving style. He's absolutely flying in this league at the minute, is Luke Doherty. Anyone that knows Philo and P1 Don will know that they are some of the best in the game, in my opinion. They're really, really capable drivers. Luke Doherty's really mixing it up with them. He's not a driver I've seen too much of, so to some it may not be a surprise, but it's just because I haven't really seen that much of him. Wace's exit there from Pouron was a little bit scruffy. He'll carry dirty tyres now into Stavelot. And this might give Luke Mitchell the opportunity. Coming down Blanchimont is firmly in the slipstream is Luke Mitchell, but that yellow and blue car has proved a tough cookie to get past. He's trying now to hook it through the inside. That'll give him the inside line for Blanchimont. Wace will fight this. Wace has got what is now the inside for the bus stop chicane. Both got on the brakes about the same sort of time, side by side going through the bus stop. Wace, in fairness, Wace didn't really give him that much room there. Needs to leave a car's width. This is letting Moss come into the play now, so Moss now just 9 tenths behind this fight. And Luke Mitchell just has to settle in behind for another go at him. Probably down towards the end of the Camel Straight, but Luke Mitchell will be getting frustrated behind the wheel. Just needs to keep his composure. I'm sure his opportunity will present himself at some point. He just needs to be in the right place at the right time to take advantage of it. Philo is extending the gap at the top of the field. 1.7 seconds now the gap. Luke Doherty coming under threat by Don. Now it's just a case as to whether these guys think they can catch Philo if they work together. There's another 10 minutes left for this race yet, so there's plenty of time. These guys fight though, they can definitely kiss goodbye to that. Luke Mitchell does get by Wace in the end. I've pressed the replay marker, we can go back and have a look at how that happened. But yeah, if P1 Don and Luke Doherty just keep fighting away, they will definitely lose Philo. It is a certainty. Luke Mitchell though goes wide. He can make it, he's alright as they go through Dave Corner. Alright, let's have a look at how Luke Mitchell got this move made on Wace. So this is coming up the Camel Straight, and it's just going to be a slipstream overtake. Breezes past with the overspeed, and he's just going to outbrake him coming down the chicane. Smart driving there by Luke Mitchell. What you'll notice he did was he drove in the middle of the circuit, so he kind of compromised his own line, but it made it so Wace really had to get on the brakes early just so he could make the corner. That compromised Wace's line way more than his. Good, smart, intelligent driving there by Luke Mitchell to get that move made, but Wace is really hassling the back of that Ibanez car and looking at any moment like he might just launch a move down the inside of him. This battle for fourth is kicking off then. Oh, we've got a slow car. That's Luke Doherty. I've replayed it. We can go back and have a look at how that happened. But Luke Doherty soon got swallowed up by these two now. Just going to get involved in this fight. It's going to be 3 wide then as we go down the bus stop. Luke Mitchell gets that defended but hooks a curb. He did what Shadowstalker did. And it's all kicking off now. It's all kicking off. We've got pretty much P3. Pretty much P3 to P8 right there in the background, all pretty much in the same picture really. So it is now Luke Mitchell leading away to waste. Luke Doherty is just at the head of that. Moss is involved as well. Moss somewhere has had a shocker, and Darksykes out of nowhere could suddenly pick up a lot more points here. So Luke Mitchell and Waste going side by side. This is giving Luke Doherty the opportunity to get them places back. Great driving by Luke Doherty. Saw the fact that Wace and Luke Mitchell were fighting and just took advantage really. Luke Mitchell now shoved down to P6, having picked up that penalty going through Radion. Luke Doherty returns to P3. Wace holds P4 for the time being, but Moss is going to look to change that now. But Moss will have a very frustrated Luke Mitchell. Let's see what happened to Luke Doherty a lap or so ago. Oh, he's trying to burn a penalty, that's what he was doing. So Luke Doherty must have got a massive penalty from somewhere. Oh, a couple of cars go wide there at Piron. That's going to shake the order up once again. Luke Doherty escapes for that. Wace is gone wide, he's off the track. Luke Mitchell gets his way through up to P4. Moss was another car that went wide. He's all the way down in P7 now. Darksykes has made it all the way up to P6. Wace is off the track. What happened to Wace? So this is Wace behind Luke Mitchell. His line's wrong here. He's going to overshoot here, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, those stewards with nerves of steel. Apologies if you lost audio temporarily. My thingy-my-bob went all weird. Does that from time. My controller will just randomly disconnect, so I apologise. Right, so let's give you a little bit of a race recap since so much has happened. TNR Philo leads away 1.3 seconds, chased down by P1 Don. Luke Doherty holding P3. We've just seen another car go wide there coming out of the source. Luke Doherty and Luke Mitchell holding P3 and P4. Moss P5 just ahead of Bigsy. Bigsy just ahead of Darksykes, Wace P8 and Shadow Stalker P9. The story really was the battle for P3, which has sort of simmered a little bit. Luke Mitchell and Luke Doherty are currently fighting that one out. Bigsy and Moss now scrapping over P5. Bigsy just about coming out on top of that. Moss looking to get that move made. He again hits the dildos from hell and gets sent into the air. Darksykes in the beautiful Mandalorian car that we can have a look at there, holding P7. He's having a good race so far. But one person who is having a good race, TNR Philo, but he's not having it all his own way. P1 Don is not letting him get away with this easily. Philo, who did a mid-25 in qualifying, won't be making those won't be pushing that much in at this stage of the race. P1 Don was probably a little bit more comfortable at that pace. So this battle for P3 proving to be exceptionally interesting. Luke Doherty's gone a little bit deep there. He's going to have to do some defending down into the bus stop chicane. Unless Luke Mitchell gets a really good drive out of here on him and gets the slipstream and gets the move done. He has tucked into that inside line. This is what he tried to do with Wace earlier on. So they're going to go side by side into the bus stop. Luke Doherty's going to have the inside line for the bus stop. And goes a little bit deep. It's going to give him dirty tyres. That means he might have to get on the brakes just a tad earlier. Good break in there by Luke Doherty. Keeps that position, but Luke Mitchell with the good tactics to just basically get a track position coming into the bus stop chicane. Doesn't work this time round. Bigsy winning that battle for P5, but Moss looks like he's pressuring him all the way. Darkside's now getting involved in that little scrap as well. Could be anyone's that at the minute. Another one that could be anyone's is the final podium position. P1 Don isn't really catching Philo. Philo's pulling out a 2-second gap now, so Philo won't be giving any slipstream to the car behind. Both drivers hold a commanding lead over P3, which is currently being contested between Luke Doherty and Luke Mitchell. You see how Luke Doherty there sweeps to the outside line. That's so he can get a better entry speed into the corner, but if there's a car there it's kind of pointless, so I would have just kept Luke Mitchell narrow at that point, but I can see why I did it. Coming through Bruxelles, down into the newly renamed Dave corner, that's what I called it. It has been called No Name for as long as I can imagine. You can see Moss has got his way up to P5 behind. Good race so far for Luke Doherty. Luke Mitchell pushing him all the way. We're going to have one more lap after this by the looks of things. What's happened to Darkside? He's just dropped back a little bit. Wace has started to catch him, so Darkside is just going to keep Wace at bay for another lap. All credit to Shadow Stalker. We've not given him too much coverage, but he's kept plugging away. So most drivers should get another lap in. As we see the fight between Luke Doherty and Luke Mitchell go on for yet another lap. Luke Mitchell there having to take to the grass. So this is important really, because Luke Mitchell now has the inside for the bus stop chicane. Luke Doherty smartly though, very, very good racecraft there by Luke Doherty to take that line. Just defend that inside line for that P3 position. Good driving by Luke Doherty. Luke Mitchell's got one more lap to try and get a move made. Moss starts the final lap, leading this little gaggle of cars for the P5 spot. So these are all going to get another lap in. I think Shadow Stalker, that's going to be his race, so he will be confirmed as P9. Philo starts the lap nearly 2 seconds ahead of P1 Don. Luke Doherty and Luke Mitchell, so I'll be very surprised if Luke Mitchell doesn't go for it here at the end of the Camel Straight and then just park the bus for the remainder of the lap. Let's jump on board the Ibanez car and see what he does. Yeah, he's swarming all over him. Luke Doherty's going to make sure he goes the long way though. They're pretty much going to go side by side here. Luke Mitchell's going to have to be very light on the brakes if he wants to make this move happen. Luke Doherty, nice braking down into Les Combes. Doesn't happen for him at this stage. Moss currently leading this little battle in P5. Big Z involved in that. Darkside's has dropped back a little bit. Darkside's has got a waste all over his rear end. Anything like this happen between any of these fights? Doesn't really seem like it. Wace will want to get some more points out of this one, given his early lap 1 prowess. One more shot for Luke Mitchell, probably down into the bus stop chicane to get Luke Doherty for that P3 spot. Wace has dropped back here from Darksides. Darksides has got quite a lead now and only growing that. I think Wace has made an error somewhere. So that's P7, sorry, P7, yeah, for Darksides, all sealed up. Right, let's see what happens with these guys. P1 Don and Luke Doherty. Sorry, Luke Doherty and Luke Mitchell, my apologies. I do know that Philo and Don are finishing the race now, but I need to keep an eye on this. I don't want to zip away from this only to miss action here. So Philo takes the win. P1 Don's going to solidify P2. I think Luke Doherty might have just gone too deep there, but he's got away with it. It's going to be a bit of a drag race to the line. Luke Doherty's going to take P3. Luke Mitchell P4. Moss P5, Bigsy P6, Darksykes P7, Waste P8 and Shadowstalker P9, but all plaudits go to TNR Philo, 3.5 seconds in the end over P1 Don. What could have happened, I guess, if P1 Don had got a better start and they'd just been able to run away with it and chase Philo down from all that lap, because the pace wasn't really all that different between the two in terms of what laps they were doing. Would have been potentially quite interesting. So that was race 1. We're going to have a couple of minutes break now before race number 2, which will be a reverse grid race. This will be yes, it'll be 15 minutes as well, won't it? Right, I'm just going to mute you for a second while I nip to the gentleman's. I'll be back imminently and we'll cover race 2. So yeah, I'll just leave you with this screen because there's no car on track to follow, so just bear with me a minute and I'll be back. I have returned. Oh, we've got dusk. Beautiful. This should be very photography friendly. Understeer so much. Is it me or I don't know. I didn't really have many understeer problems with when I was doing my 2-second fuse in the curbs. Yes, mate, yes, absolutely good, looks good. 1 minute, let me just go. A little bit of chatter between the drivers just about the penalties. So these are penalties that are automatically issued by the game for track cut infringements, essentially. So if I just jump on board with Moss, a good example is the corner we're coming up to right now. Moss is just messing about, I think. But if you just cut that corner at the top there, you get quite a big penalty. if you use the curbs you get quite a big penalty as well. So yeah, it can be a bit of a race ruiner, I'm afraid. Alright then, so final race of the evening for you, and before we break up for Christmas. So this is the dusk race. This is where you'll see the lights are glowing and the brakes are glowing as well. Reverse grid race, so the drivers, so the Philos and everyone will be starting at the back of the grid. Expect lots of action coming down into Lake Combe here, as everyone will want to take advantage of the slipstream. Waste will want a good getaway here. He immediately aims his car to the inside. Sykes is trying the same sort of thing. Shadow Stalker's going to be besieged by everyone. Waste is trying to drive around the outside. Everyone seems clean so far. Moss looks like he's got caught up in some shenanigans, but everyone through okay as we go down to Eau Rouge for the first time this tonight. Waste technically ahead of Shadow Stalker, and he's going to try and get a good escape. A couple of cars going side by side. Luke Mitchell was involved there with Philo. Luke Mitchell is going to get about 7 years worth of penalties now for cutting the top of Eau Rouge, but he kind of had no choice in fairness, as all the drivers try and just make an escape from each other. Waste leads the way. Bigsy makes a launch down the inside. We've got Luke Doherty and Philo having a battle. We've got a little bit of action kicking off here. We've got a couple of cars off. That's Luke Doherty and Philo fighting away. Philo's got a penalty. Moss P6, Luke Mitchell P7, Dark Sykes P8 and P1 Don right at the back in P9. But it's Waste that's currently getting the better of everyone else, but Bigsy is giving him a right hassle in P2. I don't know why I hit that then. Oh god, it's all getting a bit scruffy down here at the back then. Luke Doherty's making a break for it, but Philo, Moss, P1 Don. See how congested it is right at the back here. Let's just stay on board with Luke Mitchell and just watch the chaos happening. That's Dark Sykes and the Mandalorian car on the inside there. I'm watching the cars ahead just to see what happens, because these guys are the ones that were at front. Let's jump on board with P1 Don. The car directly ahead there is Philo. Ahead of him is Moss. Because they're all going to try and get the better of each other coming down to the bus stop. Let's jump up to the top for the bus stop and have a look at Waste v Bigsy for the race leads. These guys have pulled a 2-second gap to the next car behind them, which is Luke Doherty. Shadow Stalker is still holding P4. Moss has gone deep. That's going to let Philo have a drive around him, but Moss is just ahead of P1 Don still. So P1 Don's got it all to do now. He's P7 in the race so far. Philo and Luke Doherty have managed to make escapes, really. Oh, P1 Don's internet is starting to play up, I'm afraid. Oh, it's not good timing. It couldn't hold on just 10 more minutes. But leading us through Eau Rouge for the second time of asking is Waste. Bigsy hot on his heels. He'll be looking to make an attack as we come down to Lake Combe. Indeed, these two go side by side. Bigsy technically taking the race leads. Waste is going to fight him back. Can Bigsy get the cut back? And the Care Bears mobile is making a good account of himself here. This is allowing Luke Doherty to catch up though. Shadow Stalker currently holding P4. Philo's going to try and drive down the inside. I think that's going to be a relatively easy move for Philo. P1 Don has got his way past Moss. But if we jump on board P1 Don's car, you'll now see a little bit of glitching from him from time to time. Oh, we've got yellow flags. That's Bigsy. Bigsy with a massive accident there. We'll go back and have a look at that in just a second. That's pretty much going to promote everyone else up a spot. So Philo, P1 Don all benefited from that. Luke Doherty holding P2 now because of Biggs' accident. Bigsy now right down the back of the grid. Let's see what happens to the Care Bears car. He's going to catch the inside of the curb. Yeah, there he is. And unfortunately that went him, that sent him Kylie Minogue spinning around on the exit of Pouon and right down at the back of the grid. 10 seconds off Wace now. 1.2 seconds though is the gap between Wace and Luke Doherty for the race lead. I fully expect Luke Doherty to start challenging for that. Behind those guys is Philo. Philo is just 4.5 seconds off the lead with 10 minutes of the race remaining. So odds on Philo getting in the mix very high. Luke Mitchell's had a good lap there. He's up to P6. He's got himself past Moss and Dark Sykes. But as it stands, it is Wace leading the way. Let's just see how Philo can do it. So the gap starting that one 3 seconds to Luke Doherty. P1 Don in that mix as well. Shadow Stalker could be a little bit of a cork in the bottle for these guys. Luke Mitchell, Moss and Dark Sykes all looking to get past Shadow Stalker, who's currently carrying 8 tenths worth of penalties. Luke Mitchell v Moss now coming down the Camel Straight. So Moss technically ahead, but Luke Mitchell might just be a little bit brave on the brakes. In fact, Luke Mitchell backs out of that move, and I think Moss had to take to the escape mode. Moss dropped a couple of positions there. In fact, Biggsy's going to find his way past him. Let's see what happened with Moss. Oh, he's just late on the brakes. Yeah, he's late on the brakes. That's all. In fact, he's exited the race actually as Moss, so unfortunately there was no more Moss for this one. Luke Mitchell trying to get his way past Shadow Stalker. Yeah, oh, Luke Doxy's ahead now. That happened earlier on while we were covering the Moss incident. Luke Doxy's is your pedal gone? Fair enough. That'll explain why you didn't brake, mate. To be fair. Right, so yeah, at the start of the lap, the gap between Philo and P2 was 3 seconds. It is now 1 second, and Philo's pulled a gap to P1 Don. He's got a little bit of a penalty to contend with. Luke Doxy, has he got any penalties? He was in the chat saying how he was getting them for fun last time out. So far, so good. I do love the glowing brakes. So starting lap number 4 then, less than a second is the gap between Philo and P2. So I was a bit distracted by P1 Don's glitching car then. He holds a little bit of a penalty, does P1 Don, but that should be relatively quick to burn off. Luke Mitchell having a good fight with Dark Sykes. Luke Mitchell's got a little bit of a penalty. I think he's just going to try and burn that. Dark Sykes doesn't threaten the Ibanez car. And indeed, it's just going to tuck him some nice suck action down the Camel Straight, which should help him avoid pressure from Bigsy and Shadow Stalker behind. Sykes, just hold on to your gears until you get to the top of the hill. You'll carry more speed. I don't know if you're listening. You might not be listening. Wace is putting it to Luke Doxy here for the race lead. This is, of course, giving Philo the opportunity to really reel these guys in. What happened to Luke Doxy there? He's out as well. What happened? Oh, that's either, it's not a disconnect because he would have left the room, but that's where his steering wheel disconnects. Like, controller input just goes completely. So that's 2 drivers. We've only got 7 drivers left now. We've gone from 9 to 7, so not very many drivers in this race tonight, which is a shame because Spa's my favourite track. Yeah, wheel disconnected. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Luke. You just basically F4'd the race, really. So let's see if Waste can hold on for the remaining 5 minutes. We've got Philo climbing all over him. So my prediction, I guess, is Philo's going to get him because it's Philo and he's just OP. It's whether Philo can hold on to a podium position, because Luke Mitchell's going to be coming at him pretty fast. P1 done with a little bit of a penalty. He'll get rid of that pretty quickly, I should imagine. Wace is defending for all his might here. Philo's just going to go for the cutback and get the drive out basically of La Source. A little bit further back, Luke Mitchell, 5.7 second gap to P1 Don. Bigsy and Darksykes having a good little scrap. Shadow Stalker down in P7 as we saw earlier on. Yeah, it's a shame Luke Doherty's wheel disconnected, and Moss's as well. We've lost 2 fast drivers out of this lobby tonight. Looking up a little bit further, it is Wace v Philo. Philo looking to put the pressure away. So far it's proved he can defend when he really wants to. Philo just using slightly alternate lines just to get the optimum exit. I'm just watching him there through Dave Corner, and he turned in just a little bit earlier, and that just enabled him to get on the power a bit quicker coming out. It's normally something you wouldn't bother doing because it has no benefits at all, and it just puts you at a bit of a higher risk of smacking a dildo on the inside of Dave Corner. But for that one, it worked a charm. So yeah, Philo assumes the lead of the race now. Wace will give him a bit of a hard time. P1 Don's reeled these guys in now. He's just a second behind. Luke Mitchell hasn't succeeded in reeling those guys in either. Darksykes comfortably P5 at the minute. He's going to get chased down by Bigsy, and Shadow Stalker P7. So I was getting that glitch again in here where I could hear like loads of spectators cheering. Ooh, that was a bit dodgy by Wace. He nearly lost it. But Philo defends to the inside. Wace is giving him his go. P1 Don still carrying a little bit of a penalty. He's looking at this thinking that at least a P2's on the cards for him if he can start attacking Wace. It's for Luke Mitchell. 6.1 seconds now the gap. Probably another. This might be the last lap for Luke Mitchell and below, given the amount of time left. 2 minutes 25, 26 a lap. So 2:25.9 that time round for Philo. It doesn't look like Darksykes is being caught by Bigsy very fast. It isn't how the podium's going to look. You'd be foolish for looking past Philo for a race win. It's just what he can do. It's whether Wace or P1 Don can settle their arguments this lap. I don't know if we're going to get another lap. I think these guys will get another one in. I think Don, Wace and Philo will all do a 7th lap. I think. Luke Mitchell, not sure. I think he'll get one in as well. In fact, most drivers should get a 7th in. Most should. I guess it's been good that we've had stuff to talk about, to be fair, because Spa's a track that can threaten to be a bit of a bore fest. You know, if he's more likely for field spread at Spa, really. I was looking back at P1 Don's car. So this is on board with Wace, who's getting the pressure now from behind. And Don, who's looking like he might be fancying a P2 spot here. Might be having a bit of a go down the bottom of the bus stop. Both drivers come through Blanchimont now for the 6th time. P1 Don's car starting to glitch again a little bit. Does he go for the move around the outside? He might go for the cut back and exit out. Waste does indeed go very deep. P1 Don's able to drive around the outside then. P1 Don, who's going to have the inside full of sauce. So indeed these do both start another lap. I think Luke Mitchell, Dark Sykes are both going to get another lap in as well. Biggsy might actually finish the race. Let's have a look now. So Biggsy gets another lap in. Shadowstalker is going to be the first driver to actually finish the race though. So he confirms a P7. Philo leads the way by 2.5 seconds. P1 Don holding P2 at the minute, but Wace is going to fight him for this all the way. Luke Mitchell has took time out of the guys ahead, but not enough. And Dark Sykes and Biggsy, it doesn't look like that battle's really going to come to anything. So the fight we need to be watching really is Wace v P1 Don. Wace is trying to hang it around the outside at Les Combes. Unfortunately for Wace, that doesn't work out. P1 Don is just too suave, but Wace has got a really good run here coming down Bruxelles. And they're side by side as they come down towards Dave Corner. P1 Don's off the circuit, so I don't quite know what happened to P1 Don there. Let's go and have a look. Let's jump on board the front facing camera now. Oh, he was very late on the brakes here. What happened though? Oh, I don't know, because his internet's that glitchy, I can't tell what happened. I'll be honest, I don't think there was contact, but there was that much glitching, just couldn't really tell what was going on. But let's give him some coverage, because we've not given him enough coverage really for the accomplishments he's done. He qualified with a 25.5 in race 1, dominated that race, took the fastest lap, the pole position and the race win. In race 2 he's come from all the way at the back, battled his way through without a single incident really that's notable, and cleanly fought his way through the pack, has taken the fastest lap as well so far and the race win. TNR Philo, absolute dominant performance at Spa-Francorchamps. So he takes a race win. Wace, hard fought P2. P1 Don, last step on the podium for him. Luke Mitchell's come through to take P4 in the end. Biggsy in the end got past Dark Sykes. I don't know what happened there, but Dark Sykes finishing P6. Shadowstalker at P7. So there's confirmation of your race results. It's just a shame we lost so many damn drivers. So we lost Moss and Luke Doherty because of what is essentially hardware failure. Yeah, so Moss and Luke Doherty both had issues, I guess. It's probably the nicest way of saying it. Right, so we've got a little bit of a break coming up now. So obviously we'll be back with these guys next time. I'm just trying. Sorry, I'm stalling because I'm actually trying to find out what the next track is. So I'm just going to the events page and just seeing if I can tell you when that is and what's going to happen. Oh, you know what? It's not working, so I can't tell you. But yeah, we'll be keep an eye out on the socials, and I'll tell you on there. Yeah, the lag did get really bad at the end. But hey, it never mind. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. It's not the end of the world. It was good race 1. Bro, you're driving. Oh, the burn. Oh, I probably should have read that one out. But there we go. It doesn't matter. It's all good fun. I think PSN's just broken. Yeah, it's been since PS5's been released. The PlayStation Network is just knackered at the minute. But a savage burn there by P1 Don. But yeah, that's us broken up for Christmas, so streams will take a bit of a back step. I'm just going to try and enjoy this Christmas, really. It's been an awful year, so I'm just going to try and enjoy the Christmas with my little radiator's boiling. Just going to try and enjoy the Christmas with my kid. Spent an absolute fortune on her, so hopefully I have a good Christmas with my little girl. Spend all of it in the gym and eating mince pies. So thank you to everyone that's tuned into a stream in 2020. You have helped keep me entertained through the year, and I do appreciate you for doing that. Why have I turned my laptop off? I need it. So yeah, join us in the new year for more hot BMW M4 action. We'll be back, of course, with the Megans. Have we got anything else coming on? And of course, we'll be back with the GT3s on Wednesday night. So all leagues, I think, have a break now in the off season. So we do what Formula 1 do, and we have a little bit of a winter break. Yeah, and we'll be back in early January. What I'll do, I'll post updates when those are all going to return on my Instagram, CJW Racing, on my Facebook, CJW Racing, and yeah, we'll be starting with the Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship and the Infinity GT Manufacturers Series in 2021 as well. So we'll be kicking 2021 off with a bang in January. There'll be lots going on. Keep an eye out, because it's going to be a very, very busy time for me. I'm suddenly going to go from having nothing on to having everything on. So I'm going to be very stressed, but it'll be worth it because it's all good fun. But yeah, thank you for tuning into a stream. Appreciate it's been a bit of a longer one tonight, and I'll see you all next year. Thanks for watching. Have a good Christmas. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the flip side.